Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the special council meeting on June 13th, 2024. Individuals interested in participating in this meeting were eligible to register online using the delegation registration form at www.kitchener.ca/delegation or via email at delegation@kitchener.ca. Any written comments received prior to the start of this meeting have been circulated to members of council and will form part of the public record. The meeting live stream and archived videos are available at www.kitchener.ca/watchnow. Before we begin this meeting, I'd like to acknowledge that today we're gathering on the traditional territory of the Neutral, Anishinaabe, and Haudenosaunee peoples. We recognize our responsibility to serve as stewards for the land and honor the original caretakers who came before us. Our community is enriched by the enduring knowledge and deep-rooted traditions of the diverse First Nations, Métis, and Inuit in Kitchener today. I'd also like to acknowledge that June is National Indigenous History Month, an important moment to recognize the incredible contributions, varied cultures, and distinct heritage of the First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people in Kitchener and across our country. Kitchener rests on the traditional territories of the Anishinaabe, Haudenosaunee, and Neutral peoples. Each group has a distinct culture, language, and traditions, which have been an essential part of this land for countless generations. At the City of Kitchener, council members and staff are committed to furthering our understanding of the history and current reality of Indigenous peoples and addressing the deep-rooted, systemic anti-Indigenous racism that exists today. The work of reconciliation is complicated, challenging, and requires a critical eye on how power is distributed in organizations and embedded within structures. The City of Kitchener's vision is one of building a city for everyone, where together we take care of the world around us and each other. In 2019, we committed ourselves to responding to call to action number 57 from the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, which began with the launch of intercultural competency training focusing on history, treaties, legislation, and impact on First Nations, Métis, and Inuit. In addition to staff training, we have launched programming around days of significance, such as the development of learning toolkits and resources for the National Day for Truth and Reconciliation. We recognize that reconciliation entails adopting various approaches, such as the way we plan our parks and open spaces, whom we support with grant funding, how we design our training, and how we make decisions regarding our street and place names. Through engagement and discussions with Indigenous communities, we learned that outdoor gathering space for Indigenous communities is needed in parks. This space should be a safe and welcoming space where community, especially Indigenous communities, can gather for ceremonies and to celebrate cultural traditions. Building dedicated gathering space is a high priority for us, and that's why we're working to transform Huron Natural Area into a space that represents Indigenous communities, arts, and culture. We have also grown the size of the RISE Fund that is supporting Indigenous communities, amongst others. The fund is a community grant that provides support for Black, Indigenous, and racialized community-led organizations, programs, initiatives, or events meant to decrease inequities and increase opportunities and well-being for those same communities in Kitchener. We acknowledge that we still have a long way to go toward reconciliation and eliminating discrimination against Indigenous people. We urge all Kitchener residents to recognize National Indigenous History Month by learning about the history of Indigenous peoples. We need to reflect on the tragic facts of the residential school system and acknowledge their presence in contemporary history. Each of us can do our part by committing to learning more, attending a local event, supporting an Indigenous business or artist, or making a donation to a local Indigenous organization. June is also Pride Month across Canada, and it's a celebration of the history, contributions, and diversity of the Two-Spirit, lesbian, gay, bisexual, trans, intersex, queer, and questioning communities, 2S LGBTQIA+. The City of Kitchener's vision is one of building a city for everyone where together we take care of the world around us and each other. And as we celebrate Pride Month, we reaffirm our commitment to build a more inclusive and equitable city where all members of the 2S LGBTQIA+ community feel valued, respected, and welcome. Earlier this month, the Progress Pride flag was proudly raised at City Hall and remains there all month. It is a representation of our commitment to supporting members of all identities. The Progress Pride flag combines the original multicolored rainbow flag and the transgender pride flag to reimagine a flag that recognizes and values all parts of the modern 2S LGBTQIA+ community. Artist Daniel Quasar's Progress Pride flag includes black and brown stripes to represent marginalized 2S LGBTQIA+ communities of color, community members lost to HIV/AIDS, and those currently living with AIDS. The chevron represents a need for forward movement. Pride Month is a reminder that we all have a role to play in creating a world where everyone can live authentically and freely. We invite you to reflect on what equitable actions you can take in both your personal and professional lives to create a more inclusive and caring community. As we reflect, let us also take in the opportunities across our city and region to learn and celebrate Pride throughout the month of June. Please visit our spectrum.com and community calendars for details. Happy Pride Month. I'll now ask if there are any disclosures of pecuniary interest. There being none, there are no delegations, there's no mayoral business. Motion to go in camera for the two items listed, Councillor Ioannidis and Councillor O'Dooney. All those in favour? Opposed? That's carried. Motion for 3 readings of the bylaws, Councillor Michaud and Councillor Chapman. All those in favour? Opposed? That's carried. Motion to adjourn. Councillor Deneau and Councillor Stretch. All those in favour? Opposed? That's carried.